Retirement isn't just one chapter, it's a whole book. And every stage comes with a new plot twist. And a price tag. What works financially at 62 might not cut it at 82. Whether you're just starting your post-work life or deep into the golden years, your budget needs to evolve with you. This guide breaks down how to adjust your spending and planning at every step, so your money lasts as long as you do, and maybe even longer. You've crossed the halfway point. The 50s are upon you. No, not quite the midlife crisis moment, but a subtle reminder that the end of your working years is just behind the corner. So what do you do when retirement is no longer a far-off daydream, but something that is creeping up on you like an unexpected bill from your gym? You start preparing, of course. Pre-retirement is the glorious phase when you are not yet in the trenches of retirement, but you can see the battlefield on the horizon. The problem is you still have to make sure you're financially armored and ready to face whatever comes your way. Spoiler alert, this storm might not be as gentle as you think. The good news, there is still time to make adjustments, but you want to be strategic. This is no time to just throw a couple of savings into the jar labeled retirement fund and hope for the best. What changes in pre-retirement? You are hopefully over I'll save later phase. In your younger years, you probably thought retirement savings could be pushed off, like getting a root canal. But now your retirement age is moving from I'll deal with it in 10 years to whoa, I need to deal with it right now. The truth is, procrastination has an uncanny way of catching up with us, and this is the stage when you realize you can't just win it anymore. No one wants to hear this, but your future self is probably making a list of all the things you forgot to plan for. And that list is long. But don't panic just yet. This is your wake-up call to take action. Even if your savings are a bit behind, this is the golden opportunity to make up for lost time. How? You'll need to start ramping up contributions to your retirement accounts like 401k or IRA. If you are eligible for catch-up contributions, hello, age 50, this is your time to shine. It's like being given extra credit for the test you thought you failed. Sweet, right? And if you are carrying debt, this is time to tackle it. No one wants to go into retirement with a debt hanging over their heads like a cloud that won't go away. You are trying to build your dream beach house, not a beach bum forever with a huge credit card bill. The future is now. Plan your retirement budget. This stage is all about planning, and I mean seriously planning. You may be thinking, but I don't even know what I will be doing in retirement yet. Well, that's normal. You don't need a crystal ball, just a budget that can grow and adapt to wherever your future holds. Your pre-retirement budget should reflect two main priorities. Boost your savings. As mentioned earlier, catch-up contributions are key. And if you are lucky enough to get bonuses or raises at work, the portion of those should go straight into your retirement account. It's like a game of hide the money from yourself. Don't let it touch your spending habits. Shave down unnecessary expenses. This might feel like a bad episode of Hoarders, but it's time to cut back. Do you need the daily artisanal coffee? No? Cut it. Do you need a gym membership you never use? Yes? Cancel it. Do you need 18 streaming subscriptions that no one watches? You see where I'm going with this. You don't need $5 lattes or the fancy avocado toast that somehow costs $12. Don't even get me started. Those small savings will add up quickly when you're living on a fixed income. Health is wealth. Literally. Here's the fun part. You might think that you are in the prime of your life. But health-wise, your body is starting to making some decisions without asking you first. From back pain to eye strain, your body is giving you subtle clues that retirement may involve a lot more than lounging by the pool. Healthcare is often an afterthought until it's too late. And guess what? Healthcare is going to be one of your biggest expenses once you retire. By age 50, 62, this is the time to get serious about your healthcare plans. The idea of retiring early and letting Medicare handle it all is a bit premature. Medicare kicks in at 65, so you'll be stuck paying for private insurance if you retire earlier than that. And private insurance is expensive. It's not the kind of expensive where you can just swipe your credit card and move on. This is life-altering, significant financial stuff. Now's the time to start researching health savings accounts and start investing in one if you haven't already. An HSA allows you to set money aside tax-free for medical expenses, and the best part is that it can be used in your retirement for healthcare costs. Think of it as your personal healthcare piggy bank, except this one comes with tax advantages. Maximize your income. You're getting closer to retirement, but it doesn't mean you need to slow down yet. Maybe you're thinking, I'll just ride out this last few years and cruise into retirement. No. The next few years are your chance to maximize your income. That means taking advantage of raises, promotions, or side gigs. Yes, I'm talking about side hustles like driving for Uber, dog sitting, or offering your expertise on platforms like Fiverr. At this stage, every extra dollar helps, and those savings can add up into something substantial over time. Also consider downsizing your lifestyle, trading the fancy car for something more economical, or find ways to cut back on daily expenses. The debt-free dream. Look, no one wants to carry debt into retirement, and yet so many people do. Maybe it's the mortgage, the credit card bill, or that personal loan you took for a new fridge. Whatever it is, now it's time to knock it out. Retirement should be about enjoying life, not stressing about bills. Plan a debt reduction strategy that includes paying down high-interest debts first, and if you can, prioritize paying off your mortgage. It's a huge weight off your shoulders when you retire and don't have to pay those hefty monthly payments anymore. How to budget for pre-retirement. By the time you hit pre-retirement, you need to be in full serious planning mode. The good news is that there is still time to get your financial ducks in a row. Here is how to adjust your budget for the road ahead. Maximize your savings potential by contributing the maximum amount to your retirement accounts. Consider bumping up your 401k and IRA contributions and make use of catch-up contributions if you are 50 or older. Remember, the more you save now, the more you'll have in your retirement account when time comes. Cut unnecessary costs by reviewing your spending and eliminating things you don't need, like subscriptions you barely use or the newest versions of gadgets you don't need to upgrade. Stay on top of healthcare by setting up a health savings account and planning for the cost of insurance before Medicare kicks in. Create a debt-free retirement plan by getting aggressive about paying down any outstanding debt, especially like high-interest credit cards or that nagging mortgage. The pre-retirement phase may feel like a small march toward the finish line, but it's time to get proactive. Start cutting back on spending, increasing savings, and planning for those health expenses. Get ahead now, and you'll be able to coast into retirement like a boss. Just don't forget to pack sunscreen, because it's gonna be a sunny and hopefully relaxing future ahead. Congratulations, you've made it to the point where you can officially kick back, relax, and no longer pretend you're working hard for the money every day. Early retirement has always sounded like this mythical state of existence, like winning the lottery or finding a unicorn at the grocery store. But now here you are, entering the realm where every day feels like a weekend, and the closest thing to a deadline is whether to take a nap or start a new Netflix series. But hold up, before you start imagining yourself sipping margaritas on the beach in the Bahamas with zero Wi-Fi inside, let's break down what is actually happening in your early retirement years and how you can keep your cool without realizing you forgot to plan for the next 20 years. What changes in early retirement? The allure of lazy days. You did it. You pulled the trigger on early retirement. Goodbye, boss. Goodbye, stressful 9 to 5. Hello, endless weekends. But here is the catch. After an initial thrill of not setting an alarm and binge-watching the entire season of Strange Things, again, you might realize that you've got a lot of time on your hands. While it's tempting to let your days melt away in a sea of sweatpants and snacks, Don't forget about the things that actually make your life fulfilling. In your early retirement years, it's important to stay mentally and physically active. You don't want to end up like that retired uncle that only comes alive during family reunions and talks about how back in his day things were better. Get a hobby, volunteer, or learn a new skill. Start investing in things that will stimulate your mind. Try something creative like painting or even gardening. You'd be surprised how good it feels to grow a tomato that you can actually eat and not just stare at on Pinterest. Retirement doesn't mean forever rich. Let's face it, there is no such thing as endless wealth, unless you are Jeff Bezos or someone who owns a private island. Early retirement may feel like you've hit the jackpot, but it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you can live out your dream life without any consequences. Early retirees face unique challenge of figuring out how to stretch their retirement savings over the next 30 or 40 years, which requires some serious budgeting. That's right, early retirement doesn't mean you get to spend like you are the monopoly man, unless you are rolling in cash, in which case tell us your secret. It's time to get serious about your budget. Retirement isn't all about luxury yachts and world travel. It's about ensuring that you can live comfortably without worrying about whether you'll be eating instant noodles by year 15. Take a long, hard look at your expenses. Can you cut back on any unnecessary luxuries? Remember, early retirement is not about living large, it's about sustainability. If you're not careful, that dream trip to Paris could easily turn into financial nightmare if it depletes your savings faster than you can say croissant. The health trap. More free time, more doctor's visits. Oh, early retirement, it's all fun and games until your body reminds you that you've been sitting at a desk for decades and maybe eaten one too many donuts. The reality is when you retire early, your healthcare needs could become a larger part of your budget. You are no longer getting those employer-sponsored health benefits, and Medicare is still a few years away. Start looking into private health insurance if you haven't already. And if you are in your early retirement years, now it's time to really ramp up your health savings account. Because the last thing you want is to get stuck with a big medical bill right when you are living your best retired life. Keep in mind, healthcare in retirement is one of the biggest expenses you'll face, so don't let it catch you off guard. It's like that unexpected extra charge when you thought your all-inclusive vacation was, in fact, all-inclusive. It's not. The social shift. Your social life changes, but that's okay. The transition into early retirement can also feel a shift in your social circle. It's like switching from your high school friends to college friends, only it happens in reverse. When you're working full-time, your social life revolves around colleagues, clients, and casual after-work drinks. But now that you're retired, the world looks a little different. Sure, you might miss the office gossip, the spontaneous happy hours, and the company-paid lunch breaks, but retirement gives you the freedom to make new connections. You might not be hanging out with your work pals anymore, but you can join clubs, take classes, and start side hustles for some adult interaction. If you are married, early retirement is a great time to reconnect with your partner and build a new routine together. But if you are suddenly living in close quarters 24/7, you might realize that you need space, or at least some peace and quiet. That's when you pick up your hobbies again, or maybe take a nice walk in the park alone. A little me time never hurt anyone. Embrace the changes in your life and don't be afraid to branch out. Remember, retirement is about creating the life that works for you, and that includes your social network. Be open to new people and experiences. The psychological shift. Finding meaning in retirement. Once the excitement of sleeping in wears off, you might start to feel a little lost. You've spent decades working, and now suddenly you're faced with having more time than you know what to do with. This is a natural part of early retirement. Your identity has been tied for a job for so long, it's hard to know what to do without it. The good news is that many retirees go through this phase and eventually find the new meaning in their post-work life. Some get involved in volunteer work, some travel, and some become mentors or consultants. The key is to find something that brings fulfillment, because retirement isn't just about avoiding the work. It's about creating a purpose-driven life that fills your life with joy, satisfaction, and hopefully lots of laughter. How to budget for early retirement? Early retirement isn't about splurging, it's about making smart financial moves to secure long-term sustainability. Here is how to budget for it effectively. Create a lean, sustainable budget by tracking your expenses and focusing on only the essentials. No one wants to be 15 years into retirement and realize they spent too much on that overpriced avocado toast in early years. Plan for healthcare costs well before Medicare kicks in. Health insurance is going to be a major expense for early retirees, so start researching your options and consider contributing to a health savings account. Diversify your income sources to ensure you're not relying on a single account. Whether it's social security, pension, a rental income, or a side hustle, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Downsize your lifestyle to adjust to your new income levels. Retirement is about freedom, not debt. Be honest with yourself about what you can afford and stick to it. Early retirement is the time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, but it's also a time to stay financially mindful. You can live the dream without feeling financially stressed. But it takes a bit of planning, a sprinkle of discipline, and a healthy dose of humor to keep everything balanced. So enjoy the ride, but don't forget to set a reasonable alarm for when you need to take the health insurance premiums seriously. Because life after early retirement is supposed to be sweet, but only if you plan wisely. Congratulations, you've officially entered the golden years. Retirement is no longer a concept you talked at office water coolers or something you planned for someday. It's here, you're living it. You've traded in your work badge for gardening gloves, travel itineraries, or maybe just a cozy recliner and a good book. But before you cue the slow jazz and pour that midday glass of wine, let's talk money. Because while this stage sounds like cruise ships and early dinners, the financial side can get a little bumpy if you're not paying attention. This phase isn't about building wealth anymore, it's about preserving it and spending it wisely without running out before the candles on your 100th birthday cake. What changes in mid-retirement? Your paychecks have stopped, but the bills haven't. Let's get one thing straight. Just because you're retired, that doesn't mean the life suddenly becomes cheaper. The rent or property taxes is still due. Groceries are still a thing, and a healthcare? Oh, it's very much a thing. The key difference, you're no longer collecting a paycheck from your employer. You're now paying yourself from all the savings you've built up over the years. This is the era of strategic withdrawals. You're balancing social security, pensions, and retirement account withdrawals like you are running a small financial institution. Except there is no bailout if you must manage it. Stick to a withdrawal plan like the 4% rule to avoid depleting your nest egg too quickly. Sure, it doesn't sound thrilling, but neither is moving in with your kids because you blew it all on a vacation home in Florida. Required minimum distributions. The IRS wants a word. You know that retirement account you've been nurturing like a bonsai tree? Well, Uncle Sam's ready to start trimming it. Starting at age 73 or 75, depending on your birth year, the government says it's time to take required minimum distributions from your traditional IRA or 401k. Think of it as the IRS gently tapping on your shoulder and saying, "Hey, remember all that tax-deferred money? Yeah? We'd like some of that now." And if you don't take your RMDs, there is a penalty. A hefty one. Like, ouch, there goes my vacation budget kind of hefty. So make sure you're calculating those withdrawals correctly. You've come too far to get caught off guard by a tax bill in your 70s. Healthcare costs are climbing like they're training for Everest. Remember when a doctor's visit just costs a $20 copay? Yeah, that ship has sailed. Now healthcare is one of your biggest expenses. Probably the biggest. Even with Medicare, there are gaps. Premiums, deductibles, long-term care, prescriptions, and the occasional "why is this so expensive" moments. If you set up a health savings account earlier, now it's time to start tapping into it for qualified medical expenses. If you didn't, well, it's not too late to manage what you can. Also, don't ignore long-term care planning. Whether it's assisted living, in-home care, or nursing facility, those costs can skyrocket fast. And no, unfortunately, Medicare doesn't cover most long-term care. Reality check: if you think it's too early to talk about elder care in your 70s, you're already late. Lifestyle adjustments may be necessary, but it's not the bad thing. Here is the part no one likes to admit. You may need to tighten the budget belt a little. Maybe that means downsizing to a smaller home, moving closer to a family, or skipping that lavish vacation in favor of a staycation with an extra fluffy bathrobes. Adjusting your lifestyle doesn't mean you stop enjoying life. It just means you are prioritizing differently. You can still live richly without spending a fortune. More picnics, less private jets, or less business class. Now is a good time to revisit your budget, track your spending, and ensure your money lasts as long as you do. Which, let's be honest, could be a while with modern medicine and green smoothies. Leave a legacy, but don't forget to live. Many retirees start thinking about what they will leave behind. That's great, your loved ones will appreciate it. But remember, don't live so frugally that you forget to actually enjoy your retirement. This is your time to shine, relax, explore hobbies, and maybe even learn how to use TikTok just to embarrass your grandkids. Work with a financial advisor or estate planner to get your will, trust, and beneficiary designations in order. It's not the most exciting task, but it's one of the most loving things you can do for your family. Balance is the goal. Enjoy your money, but have a plan for what happens to it when you're gone. How to budget for mid-retirement. Your budgeting mindset needs to shift from save and grow to spend wisely and protect. Here is how to keep your financial house in order. Stick to a sustainable withdrawal plan like the 4% rule or the modified income strategy based on the market performance. Schedule your RMDs properly to avoid penalties and tax headaches. Automate them if you can. Plan for healthcare expenses by budgeting for Medicare premiums, supplemental insurance, and potential long-term care. Cut unnecessary expenses while still enjoying life. Look at monthly subscriptions, dining out, or travel plans that can be adjusted. Keep an emergency fund even in retirement. Surprises don't stop just because you stopped working. Mid-retirement is a time for balance between caution and celebration, between enjoying your wealth and preserving it. With the right planning and mindset, you can actually make those years golden without getting financially sunburned. So go ahead, take that pottery class, try ballroom dancing, or travel to the places you've been dreaming about for decades. Just make sure your budget is along for the ride too. Welcome to late retirement, the stage where comfort is king, naps are a competitive sport, and your daily steps goal is however many it takes to get to the kitchen. Life slows down in a way you've fully earned. But while the pace gets gentler, the bills and responsibilities don't necessarily get the memo. This phase is less about chasing bucket lists and more about making sure your budget, your health, and your sanity stay intact for the long haul. What changes in late retirement? Healthcare costs take over like they own the place. Remember when your biggest health expense was a multivitamin? Those were the days. By your 80s, healthcare becomes the VIP guest of your budget. Always present, always expensive, and somehow always needing just one more thing. Doctor visits multiply, prescription bottles suddenly outnumber the spices in your cabinet, and specialists start knowing you by name. Long-term care also becomes a real possibility, whether it's in-home help or a facility that offers more support than your creakiness can. And since Medicare doesn't cover most long-term care, this cost can show up like an unexpected unexpected plot twist in a movie that you thought you understood. This is the stage where having money set aside for medical bills keeps you from tapping into your savings, or worse, Googling whether you can negotiate medical bills with fresh-baked cookies. Your home might need a makeover, or you might need a new home, that lovely multi-level home you once swore you'd never leave. Well, its staircase now looks like Everest, and your bathtub may as well be a slippery Olympic event. Mobility changes make safety the new priority, and that often means choosing between renovating your current home or moving somewhere more practical. Maybe it's a retirement community where someone else deals with the roof and lawn. Maybe it's a smaller, cozier place with fewer trip hazards. Or maybe you stay put and make upgrades like grab bars, ramps, or voice assistants that kindly reminds you what room you walked into. Whatever the route, housing becomes a major budget category because staying safe isn't cheap, but falling down definitely costs more. Your income isn't growing, but your expenses might. There comes a point where your income becomes like your favorite old song, still there, still familiar, and definitely not changing anytime soon. Social Security, pensions, RMDs, and the remainder of your savings now become the majority of what you're living on. Meanwhile, medical bills, utility costs, groceries, and housing adjustments steadily creep upward, unaware that your budget is playing with fixed numbers. This is where reviewing your spending becomes essential. Not to strip away your joy, but to help ensure you don't end up choosing between your medication and your beloved afternoon cookies. A little trimming here and there can go a long way. Let's be honest, you probably don't need 14 streaming services if you mostly fall asleep by the opening credits. You'll probably need more help from others, even if you don't want to admit it, whether it's help with cleaning, cooking, driving, or reaching that stubborn item on the top shelf. Assistance becomes the bigger part of life in your 80s. And while it's not always easy to ask for help, having support makes daily living smoother and safer. But help also comes with a price tag. Hiring caregivers or aides adds up quickly, and even relying on your family can have financial implications if your loved ones need to adjust their work schedules or take full responsibilities. This is the stage when budgeting with caregiving in mind keeps you from being caught off guard. Plus, planning ahead ensures your helpers, family or otherwise, won't left guessing about what you need or how to make it happen. Legacy planning takes center stage right next to your reading glasses. In your 80s, it's natural to start thinking about what you'll leave behind. And no, not the 27 nearly identical pairs of scissors in your junk drawer, though your kids will definitely comment on that one day. This chapter is about making sure your estate is organized, your documents are current, and your wishes are crystal clear. Updating your will, setting up trusts, and confirming your beneficiaries now means your loved ones won't be left solving a financial puzzle later. They will thank you for it, maybe not out loud, but absolutely in their hearts. When they aren't arguing over whether you intended to leave your favorite mug to your daughter or to your nephew. How to budget for late retirement. Your budgeting mindset shifts now from spend wisely and protect to protect, preserve, and plan for surprises. Here is how to keep your finances on track during your 80s and beyond. Prioritize healthcare by budgeting for Medicare premiums, supplemental insurance, medications, and possible long-term care. This will likely be your largest expense, so give it the attention it deserves. Plan for housing needs by including home modifications, downsizing costs, or retirement community fees. Safety and comfort now outweigh vanity or nostalgia. Review income and expenses regularly to ensure your fixed income cover rising costs. Trim unnecessarily spending while still allowing for small pleasures like your favorite coffee or a mid-afternoon nap. Budget for caregiving and assistance, whether it's professional aids or help from family. Including these costs now avoids surprises later. Keep your estate and legacy planning updated, including wills, trusts, and beneficiary designations. Organizing this now saves your family stress and confusion down the road. Late retirement is a time for calm, confidence, and security. With thoughtful planning, you can enjoy your days at your own pace, Whether it's cozy mornings with tea, watching your favorite shows, or laughing with your friends and family. And you can do it without worrying that your budget can't keep up. As you can see, your retirement will unfold in 4 different stages, each with unique financial considerations and opportunities. By planning ahead and adjusting your budget at each stage, you'll be able to navigate these changes with confidence and enjoy a fulfilling, financially stable retirement. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more retirement tips. And if you are already retired, how have you adjusted your budget in these stages? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, retirement isn't just about relaxing, it's about planning wisely and making adjustments as your needs evolve. So plan ahead, adjust your budget, and enjoy the journey. I'll see you in the next one.